The workshops are generally non-residential, often run in Sydney, sometimes other parts of Australia, and I also run them in Asia, particularly in Singapore. One of my real areas of interest is working with people in relationship. And relationships are very complex. I often say to people we get more lessons on how to drive a car than we do a relationship. And to me, what's more complex, And in the light of the process, it's not just one person's patterns of behavior we have, but when you bring a relationship together, it's two people with both their sets of patterns. And it's really like Lego, that our patterns often really interlock with each other. You might get someone who likes to be more controlling and dominating, and another person is more passive and submissive. And each of those things in a relationship become really limiting. The relationship gets really stale often, we lose a lot of chemistry and energy and connection. And the process helps each person really be more of themselves, and that creates more of a dynamism again in the relationship. It also gives people a lot better ability to communicate their feelings, to articulate their needs, to also set boundaries. So it's a great foundation for starting to have relationships. I'll start the workshop sometimes with a picture of a railway track going off into the distance. And I say often a relationship we've been having for a while, it's like we're like these railway tracks. We have proximity, but not connection. And many people can relate to that. In one workshop, someone said, yeah, and the wooden sleepers are the children. That's the way we relate. It's through our children. But the workshops help us connect again. And in my experience, one part of us wants intimacy and closeness, and another part of it avoids it. I know I did. I really also still see that in myself at times. It's like, do I want to connect with my partner, or will I check my emails? And sometimes when there's unresolved conflicts that might be there's maybe certain unexpressed feelings that are happening, we start to really build walls. And the workshop, we work with a lot with felt sense about learning to communicate from a more intimate but also connected way with our partner. So it's about working through our fears of abandonment, but also our fears of being smothered or losing ourselves in relationship. We work with articulating needs. How can I speak my needs really clearly and cleanly? How to talk about my feelings without flooding my partner with those feelings. And also the very important work of setting boundaries. Because I believe until you can really say a clear and loving no to a person, it's very hard to say a full and open yes to them. After a few years working with the process, I did a lot of training around relationships. It was really a particular area of interest for me, and developed these workshops called the Love Code workshops. And they're open to people who've done the Hoffman process, and also the partners of them who haven't done Hoffman. They're open to anyone, actually. And what the Love Code workshops do is they really help us, equip us for how to be in relationships. Relationships are incredibly complex, and often we get very lost. I know for myself, I often would get very lost in a relationship. I'd have reactions going on, or feelings that I didn't really know how to place myself in what was happening. And in the workshops, we look at maps of where am I right now? Am I feeling vulnerable? Have I then covered it over with a lot of protection? Is the protective behavior that I'm in triggering also the protection of my partner? And is that why we're distant and cold, or is that why I'm being sarcastic or passive aggressive? And those behaviors are often really painful in a relationship, because deep down we all want to connect and have that meaningful, loving, intimate connection. And so easily our patterns and our protections particularly really stop us having that rich and satisfying connection with each other.